Using the Detailed Expense Budget tab is optional. You can determine your planned expense levels for the Summary tab any way you wish. This tab starts by importing the ASFA standard appropriate for your situation in this column. It selects the data from a table which uses your partner status, single or couple, and the selected standard level of modest or comfortable lifestyle you think fits you. The ASFA tables are linked on the resources webpage so you can view all options before deciding which to choose. The ASFA website is not definitive on how these standards were constructed. However, anecdotally, they are an average based on research with none of the assumptions disclosed. While many of these items seem okay based on our experience, others don't make a lot of sense. For example, the building and contents insurance allowance is at a level that was the lowest quote I found after a lot of searching. On this basis, it is suggested you review your actual expenses before using this tab. You can change any data cells marked in blue. At the moment, these have been completed with example values so that you can see how the sheet works. These may or may not be appropriate in your case. The adjusted dollar annual column is where you start. Look at current expenses in each row and decide if the ASFA standard is about right or if you need to amend it. I did a 6-month analysis of credit card and bank transactions to get an average monthly spend to work out the yearly real spend levels. But I am a precise person. You may choose a simpler technique. Some banks offer an analysis of your cards by expense category that can help. Just check direct payments from bank accounts as well to make sure you track everything. As an example of how your circumstances may be unique, the electricity cost used in the example is because we have assumed a solar system. After installing a battery, the cost has actually been a net refund of $200 in the last 6 months. So we are well ahead of the budget selected, which was calculated before the battery install. I eliminated the home improvements item as I couldn't distinguish this from repairs and maintenance in my history, which is where that spend is collected. You'll notice our travel expenses are way above the ASFA standard. Not sure where the average person vacations, but these are realistic for people like us. We have 2 overseas sons we want to visit regularly while we can to be with them as our grandchildren grow up. Down here are 3 custom expense items to cover things I felt were not included in the ASFA standard in our case. You may have similar items. Just change the description to suit your items. The first is my golfing expenses. Club membership is included in the membership clubs item above. The second is my wife's art supplies, net of art sales, for her passion of producing artworks. The third is an allocation for gifts for children, friends and grandchildren, which isn't covered anywhere else. Once you have completed the first column and are comfortable with the numbers, you then adjust the next 2 columns to suit your reducing expenditure over time. For example, I don't think I'll hit many golf balls past 92. At the bottom, you get column totals of annual expenditure for the 3 periods. Then choose the annual spend level for each period with which you are comfortable, and a safety margin is calculated here. If you still have a mortgage on your home, add it in this line to the actual expense columns. If you are a renter, you set the flags on the summary sheet like this. Then add weekly rent here. That automatically populates these fields. You will then remove any home-related expenses like this. Your 3 rent expenses then copy in here, and you can adjust if necessary. Okay, now you're set to update the 3 preferred joint expense values on the Summary tab here. When you open your planner, this tab will look like this. The adjusted dollar annual, 10-year and 20-year are set to the ASFA standard you choose. You can then adjust them as you see fit to better reflect your expense levels.